Just a second, let's just see if we are live. We are live, yes. Welcome to whoever might tune in to a beautiful Monday. Right now I have some time to do a Monday doodle as my daughter is out on a little trip with her grandparents. So I'm over the moon of having some time for myself to be creative. We're going to do a bit of studying today of a Batman drawing. I sometimes get caught up with an artist and then I kind of get obsessed with an artist. So my obsession currently is Tim Sale, whom I didn't know before. I lent this book by chance at the library. His style is amazing and I've always been a fan of Batman. So I'll be doing a study of it, of one of his drawing, using the brush pens that I have delved a bit into, and it's like Pandora's box. Once I start to use these pens, it's just like a world of opportunities that comes out. It's quite amazing how many opportunities you have with these ones. What was I going to say something. Tim Sale, what was it now? Oh yes, so yeah, I just want to mention that apparently he died at an early age, 66 years old, which is very sad. But the thing about his style is that he has been very much acclaimed for, his signature style is chiaroscuro, so the stark contrast between black and white, or as you can see here, this has been colored, but you can see the stark shades that he uses in his drawings. And then also I read that he is the thing that makes him distinguished from other superhero drawings is that he was good at showing the silent periods. So the pace, in terms of the pacing, how there's both action, as there is always in superhero comic books, but the more silent episodes where nothing really is happening. This is what he was very good at, and you see it here. For instance, look at this spread here where he's just standing there silent. There's a bit of dialogue, and then here he goes. Gordon goes, "Which are?" And then this big drawing again where Batman just kind of disappears behind the corner. Typically Batman. But this is such a beautiful composition, and the way he uses the pacing is really amazing. Also here, this one I was just baffled about yesterday when I was about to go to sleep. Look at the way that she goes, her body goes parallel with the box, but she's jumping down the building, which is this way. It's just so creative way of building up a panel, I think. So yesterday I started thinking it would be fun to do a copy of Batman using the same kind of palette. But I struggled a bit with it because my brush pens are kind of limited. But this is also kind of fun to see what can I come up with just using my limited palette. So my idea is to do this drawing here and then use this palette here, which is different uses of the brush marker. So I have some line work to do. Already did a sketch, so I just want to get to it. Before that, let me say cheers and welcome to Gabby Chic Dolls. Nice that you're here with me, and you are of course welcome to do some Batman doodling as well. I don't know if you're a fan of Batman or if it's just me. Okay, flip. Start out with doing some black, and this should be waterproof. I know that these go a bit in and mix with the ink, but it's okay, I think. Thank you, Gabby. And if I didn't mention it enough, it's of course a a copy I'm making of Tim Sale's amazing drawing. Or I should rather say study. I also mentioned this in the title. This is a study, and the reason why I like to call it a study is that I do copy it, but it's more of a study because when you make a drawing that someone else has been making, a craftsman such as Tim Sale, then you become so much aware of the things he does, little things that you wouldn't be aware of if you just looked at it and read it as a comic. And that's why I think it should be called a study. I'm really studying the technique of his craftsman. I can already tell now that my line work will be different because I'm using this brush pen here, which is far more broad, I think. And hello to Part 1 also. And I should just say, if I become a bit quiet now, it's just because I'm concentrating. So you guys should, I don't know, maybe I should put out the question, are you the type of persons who are nerds about the comic books? Do you ever read a comic book, or what is your relationship to comic book about superheroes? That would be a nice question. I'm just going a bit silent right now because I can feel that all my attention should go towards the drawing, because I could easily mess up something. It's really difficult. The whole craft of inking a comic book is also just an art form. I know that there are different challenges in here that delve into specifically the techniques of just inking. And what's also fascinating is the way that there's a letterer. There's one who deals only with the lettering of the letters in the comic book, in the speech bubbles, and also there's one who's hired to do the coloring. So that's also an art form. And I really like the coloring also of this artwork here. And I forgot to mention maybe that the comic book here is called Dark Victory, and it's a sequel to a comic book called The Long Halloween, which, as far as I could tell, was also a classic in the Batman universe. Okay, here we go to something more complicated, so I will be silent. So, goes up here. And then 2 lines here, like that. And if you're wondering why, if you think that this seems a bit funny that I do a study of Batman like this, because my style is rather more into the children's book universe, I think that it's partly because I'm very interested in many different things in the illustrative world, so also comic books. And also it's because I currently am not occupied with a commission or anything. I actually have holiday, so I like to do these things once in a while where I just do something that's not related to my style or related to work, just fun, and at the same time also learn something new. And I never know what it is that I learn, but you take so much away with you when you do a study like this. And that's, of course, the obvious reason that I just think it's really fun. I mean, I can't help doing these things here. I think that you get into really nice mode when you do these studies. You get more intimate in a way with the drawing. Let's see, that goes up there and there. Then there's that one there. Let's see, it goes up there and down there. Oh my goodness, I get lost in this drapery here. Crazy how you can do a drapery like this. The way the clothing folds around his body. This is something that I would also like to learn more about, really. Big line here. And then also a big line here. Goes kind of like a dun, 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 and then a big line here. Yeah, I didn't quite capture the exact way the drapery folds. Never mind, never mind. There's one over here that I didn't pick up. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay. Okay, there we go. We should start adding some colors. No, wait, I need to that one also. Get that one also. Dun, dun. Goes all the way to the edge. There we go. Almost ready for coloring. I just need an eraser. Hold on. Ej, det er vildt langt. Alright. Oi, sip of coffee. Cheers out there. Just gotta clean things up before adding color. I can tell that it lifts a bit off here of the ink. That's kind of not want to do that. So maybe just carefully. Okay. That was... must be a good eraser I have. Okay. So let me just check out my palette I made yesterday. For the lighter side of him, I used a blue first, water version, and then purple on top of that. So that goes for the entire body of Batman. Okay, blue and purple. Okay. So just take my brush pen and dip it in the water. And then it's just all about trying to give it the first layer here. So obviously the color from the comic book we just saw had like these solid colors blocked in, which is really nice. Of course, that is makes the colors really stand out in a bright, crisp way. And this one will be quite different in its expression. And I thought yesterday, should I not do this? Should I try to maybe just do a more solid blocking in of the colors? And then I figured out, why not just do this, because this watercolorish way that the ink will lay itself down is also has something to it. So that was just the blue layer. Also looks pretty cool. Looks very old school right now. And then I will just apply again, I dip my brush pen in the water to make it less saturated. We'll put that on top of the blue. So essentially now it's glazing to get that effect I really want to. Certainly not the color that you saw in the comic book. Makes me wonder if there's ever been done a watercolor Batman. Probably has. I noticed that Tim Sale has also worked in ink, where it was more like diluted ink. I could tell, like a wash. He's been using some washes here and there in his work, which also looked astonishing. It's a weird business, the comic book industry. Imagine just waking up every day and just drawing Batman kicking ass, solving cases. Must be a weird job. There we go, very expressive. Then I need, just let me show you how very much different it is already now. Very different in the expression, and very far from the palette that I'm using. But anyway, I'm gonna do the sky now. Look at that beautiful dramatic sky, where I'll be using one layer of purple for the lighter sky flowing there, and then I'm gonna add a layer on top of that for the rest of it to achieve the darker purple. Let's see how that goes. I think that with these brush paints is that once you put down a layer, you get these visible brush strokes. So I'm still getting used to the concept of trying to think that in when I draw. Something I can't really help prevent it from doing so. something new to me. There we go. Okay, so now I need, or maybe I need to do this again because they went so bright. Must have been because of the water. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, now I need to color in the rest of the piece, and this will be a darker purple, so I need to add 2 or 3 layers, I think. And now I can talk again. So let me ask, what is your favorite Batman of all times? And maybe if you're not the Batman geek, then just kind of what is your strongest memory of a Batman? Let's just take the film, because people usually have a reference there. If I were to put a old school, my own list, I think that going old school, I think that the Michael Keaton one was really, it had something to it. Like, I think it was the old costumes, or maybe it's just pure nostalgia to me, the fact that that was one of the first Batmans that I saw. Could also go ahead and say the animated series that came out. Wow, those just had something about them. Can't remember now who made them, but I do recall that, wasn't it Warner Brothers? I think it was that made them. Yeah, right. He was just something. He was very like not the kind of very muscular kind of type, sort of Christian Bale, hard hitting, but he just had sort of like an elegance, and I mean the suits were just so old school, and the Batmobile was so old school with the big flame going out of it and the long, the long shape of the Batmobile, which must not be very practical driving such a long vehicle in the streets of Gotham. So that was a very old school one, Michael Keaton. One that I didn't like was George Clooney's portrayal. I mean, I do think that they had something about them. The one with Mr. Freeze was just downright funny because some of the scenes. But that's maybe one of the Batmans that it's one of my lesser favorites. Let's see how is it now. One down there. Just need to put a reminder here of 2 layers there. Down there, up and down. Oh, here's a bit more difficult to remember where I have been and where I haven't. Oh, wow. So difficult. Maybe I gotta do it all at once. Yeah, works better. I didn't think about that. Once you see the brush strokes, it becomes very, like there's a lot of movement in the sky now. Oh well, learning. I will do one layer more on top of that I already did. I should have used just a new color on top of that. I could still do that maybe. Yes. So instead of using the purple, maybe it could be fun to use the dark blue here on top of it. So just to add some darkness to it, but also to get a better harmony with the previous colors that I already did. Is this possible? I think it is. I think it is. Yes, that's better, I think. Becomes this beautiful color. I mean, that's where I really think that these brush markers surprise me, or that I get really happy when I see these colors. Once they start interacting with each other, they're not so interesting when they're just used without any other colors. I think the magic happens is when they are on top of each other or kind of overlapping, or the reason why I'm not doing this drawing here in my summer holiday sketchbook is that I'll give this card for my wife's nephew, who is a Batman fan. He doesn't know that I'm making YouTube videos, I think, so he won't be seeing this. I hope my hand is not smirching off. No, it's not. Just gotta keep going. Yeah, it will be. And I have a little funny thing that I do. Or well, I've did it once. I put up a drawing in his room without telling him, just to see if he would notice it. And so I think that Batman will also sneak into his room unnoticed to see what happens. It's very doubtful that DC Comics would hire me as an artist. It's not precise, but it's really fun. Need one last thing. Probably know what it is. I need to do the outline to make it a real comic. So I can also maybe cover up some of my dirty work here. I haven't been doing things quite to the edge or even over the edge. Should probably use a ruler, but I don't mind. Okay. A few spots here and there I could perfect, but yeah, also like when it's just not totally perfect. That's always my excuse, that I like when it's not totally perfect. You can get away with most things that way. Okay, let's call that a drawing. Yeah, finished. So, Tim Sale study, a very different Batman from the one I saw in the comic book, but really, really amazing. And I love how you just learn so much. I've learned that drapery is an art form. I've learned that inking is an art form. I've learned how Sale portrays the Batman with the long ears and the very like sharp shape language that he plays around with, and the way he composes. Look at that diagonal here. This diagonal, bang, and also this one, and then you have the clouds going this way, so you have like this dynamic. Really cool. Just for the last one, I want to show you something that I did late last night when I couldn't sleep after I did these Batman studies. I can also show you. Oh, I did another one, a bit of color studying, trying to pin the colors. And then I did this Batman drawing here. I also did a portrait of Tim Sale, actually. So yeah, here you get it. I started out with the boots, and I thought it would be funny to have Batman saying something detective life that was really banal. So thank you for tuning in, folks. I hope you found it interesting, and that I maybe inspired some of you out there to also do a Batman or another superhero study. Thank you for tuning. Have a nice Monday, and this week there will be a new sketchbook tour coming out. See you soon. Bye, Gabby and Batuan.